Today is all about more 5-star reads from 2023. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today we're talking about some more of my 5-star reads from 2023. So I started this series, and then I started its like mirror series of like worst books I read in 2023 at the beginning of the year. Kind of missed like the halfway mark on the year for this one, but like we're catching up now. So we're gonna do my favorite 5-star reads, another set of my favorite 5-star reads from 23, and then probably like after October, I don't know, I'm cutting it kind of close on time now because the year's like starting to wrap up, and October is my like all horror month, so I'm only going to be doing horror then. So yeah, I guess it's going to be a race to the finish in November and December to get the rest of these done. So hopefully you guys stick around for that. Before we get into it, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know I'm posting. I post every week, and all we do on this channel is talk about books. If you like listening to people talk about books, here I am every week doing just that for you. Pretty straightforward today. It'll be 3 titles of 5-star reads from 23. So yeah, I feel like I don't really need to say too much more. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. First book I'm going to talk about today is Kill You Twice by Cain. Okay, this is the final book in the Archie Sheridan, Gretchen Lowell serial killer thriller series. If y'all have been here a minute, you know I fangirl this series. I really love it. I thought it was like fantastic, and I finally finished it last year. And it took me forever, because when I tell you I started this series like probably in 2018 or 19, yeah, that was like a long time ago. And mainly the reason it takes me so long to finish series is because I kind of popcorn around and I don't read them all like right away. Like I don't back to back read them, and that's mostly because I get just a little bit too burnt out, and then I'll put the series down for years, and then it's hard to like pick them back up. So I usually only read like 2 of them a year or something like that. And then when she came out with the 4th one, I read it. I mean, like when it was time for me to read the 4th one, I read it, and I did not like that book. And I was really afraid that Cain tanked the series after that, so I took like a really big break from reading it because I didn't know if I could stand to read the 5th book and it also not be good. I'll tell you now, the 5th and 6th books were really good. It's really just the 4th book that did not work for me. So if you're going to read this series, I thought the 4th book was not the best, which kind of sucks because like that's really far into the series for it to not be good. Anyway, this is the 6th book, and this is sort of the conclusion to this series. Now, there has been mention in the interwebs that Archie and crew come up again in some of her other books, kind of like a crossover. That series that they cross over into, they don't cross over into those books until like books 5 and 6. So I'm not really interested in picking up that series just to see Archie and company again, like later. If I'm interested in reading that series like at some time, it might be nice to see them again, but I'm not going to like purposely read that series to see all these characters again. So I'm treating this as the final book for these characters, because I probably will never see them again. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit about this story. So Gretchen Lowell is a female serial killer. Archie Sheridan is the detective that was on the lead detective on her case. She was called the beauty killer because she was so stunningly beautiful, and she was a very sadistic killer. She actually kidnapped Archie. I think she held him for like 4 days or something like that, and he was the only one of her victims to survive. And so that's kind of where we open the series, with Archie like recovering from that experience and Gretchen behind bars. And like every book sort of centers around a crime that is either tied to Gretchen or Gretchen is committing. And so we kind of just go hand in hand with these 2 characters. And I think the way that she played out Archie's story through all of these books was really great, because we're not getting a huge info dump in any of the books. We're slowly piecing together what happened between Archie and Gretchen through the whole series, and it was phenomenal to read on the page. The reason this one got 5 stars, first of all, the character work in this book was by far the best, I think, of any of the other books. And some of my favorite characters had some really big moments in this book. Some of the side characters that I thought were really, really terrific. This book by far had the most Gretchen and Archie page time together. And if you've read any of these books, you know that they're not really on the page that much together, but when they are on the page together, it's brilliant, okay? And so this had so much Archie and Gretchen page time, and it just blew me away. The chemistry on the page between these two characters is phenomenal, and Chelsea Cain always nails it. When these two are together, it's always perfection. So yeah, this was a lot of that, and it was just wonderful. Also, the plot for this was very fast. Like, we're starting off like the night before, with this crime that we're chasing, and it ends like the next day. It's all very quick. Like, everything happens in a fast timeline, which I thought really worked for this book, because sometimes the timelines are pretty spread out, like maybe over a week, and it just feels like we're kind of going along with everything. This felt so quick because it was literally happening that fast. It had a pretty nice conclusion, I will say. It was pretty ambiguous, but I mean, if she's bringing them back in like other crossover books, like I can see why she didn't want to just like cut it off and end it. But I think it was a good ending for everybody in their own way. And I was happy with it. Honestly, I was happy with it. And I think she did a really good job. Like, book 4 aside, I think this series is really great. But this book was probably one of my favorites. The next book I'm going to talk about is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. If y'all been here a minute, you know that I fangirl Sarah Gailey pretty hard, okay? And if you've been here a minute, y'all know I love this book, okay? This might have been one of my favorite books from 2023. This is my favorite Sarah Gailey book for sure, okay? Because I was not expecting this. Typically, like, I see Sarah Gailey, like, when I see the covers, when I see the descriptions of their books, I always think that Sarah Gailey writes thrillers. And it kind of feels that way, like Magic for Liars felt like a thriller. And it had a very thriller-ish cover. I mean, we were solving a murder, so yeah, I kind of felt thriller-y. This book, when I read the description, I immediately thought thriller. Because in the description, it's describing our female main character as returning home to her very sick and dying mother. She's dying, and she's like, I want you to come home. And in the description, the reason that she left home is because her father went to prison for being a serial killer. I mean, yeah, and that's got thriller written all over it. I thought the basis of this book was going to be his serial killer story, which it is, but there was so much more happening in this book that I was not prepared for. I don't think I would categorize this as a thriller at all. I think it's a horror book. Because it just can't be anything else. Like, once you get into it and you start reading it, you're like, it has to be horror. It can't be anything else, okay? I have a lot of dynamics on the page about this character and, like, the home life and everything. When she does go home to sit with her dying mother, she really wants to just, like, clear the air. I think she really wants to say goodbye to this part of her life. And this is the last thing in her life that she has to say goodbye to, this woman. And she doesn't want to come back to the house. Lots of bad memories with her mom. And so this was going to be very cleansing for her to let go of this whole portion of her life. She finally gets there, and she finds out that her mom has rented the shed in the backyard to some weird artist guy that's like obsessed with her dad. And so as we're getting settled in there, she starts getting notes left behind by her father explaining the murders, okay, like the bodies and everything that they found at the house. And as we're working through all those things, we're getting more weird stuff from the mom, and we're getting lots of flashbacks from our main character's childhood when a lot of this stuff happened. This book blew me away. I'm not going to say anything else because, like, there's so many good moments that will just, like, catch you by the throat, and I don't want to say anything to, like, ruin that for you. This book was amazing, okay? I did it on audio, and I loved it. I think the audio narrator did an amazing job. It was so good. On top of the serial killer vibes, we're definitely getting haunted house vibes. We're definitely getting like creeper dude vibes from the weird artist guy. Like, I was back and forth on who this guy was for a really long time because I couldn't figure out what his deal was. I'm not going to tell you anymore, but the gore I wasn't expecting. First of all, I wasn't expecting Sarah Gailey to write gore so well. Second of all, I wasn't expecting gore at all in this book. Not at all. And it was really, really good. That's the main reason why I say it has to be a thriller, is because the gore in this book is unmatched, okay? It's very graphic and just perfection. All right? If you're wanting something just like really different, because it's different, okay? I'm not gonna lie. It's not traditional haunted house horror in any way. It's very different. But it really blew me away. This is by far my favorite Sarah Gailey book I've ever read. Okay, the last book I'm going to talk about today is Love Beyond Body, Space, and Time, and this is an anthology. And honestly, I don't really like anthologies that much, but this is an exception, okay? I absolutely loved this piece. These are a collection of short stories about indigenous two-spirit people, okay? There's some amazing authors in this bunch, but the main reason I picked this up is because I wanted to read more Joshua Whitehead, which, if you've been on my channel a minute, you know I fangirl Joshua Whitehead pretty hard too. This book was so beautiful. I loved it. I read it during Pride Month, and I felt like that was just perfect. And it's so small. It's so easy. You could just do like one little short story a day if you wanted. I just loved it. If you love indigenous folklore, if you love indigenous stories, this was perfect. It really was. And I loved the two spirit stories that were in this book. There was also some great folklore in this story, which I really loved. I really thought it was just going to be shorts with like some really good rainbow rep in it, but some of them are like folklore stories, and I loved that. I absolutely adored it. This is one that you just kind of like keep around and you poke it open and read it every now and then. It was just wonderful. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, there's not much else to say about it. I think it really delivered. I was afraid it was going to be kind of boring, but the stories really surprised me because they were all so different. Because when you get into some, this is very niche, you know what I mean? I mean, it's two-spirit and it's indigenous. I feel like it is very pegged into one corner, but the stories were so varied and beautiful. I was really surprised. I really thought it would be a little bit monotonous and boring, but it really wasn't. It completely delivered, and all the different voices were just so unique, and I had such a great time. So yeah, if you're looking for something to read for Pride Month, or just any month, you know, with some indigenous two-spirit rep, I would highly recommend this one. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. I know it was short today, but like, talking about 5-star books is so easy because I love them. There's no critique. They were my favorites. I was just talking to a friend last night about like, I'm really picky about my 5 stars, and she's like, no, I give 5 stars to like almost everything. I'm like, not me. Not me. I read like 40 books last year and only 6 of them got 5 stars. I'm picky. I'm so picky, y'all. They have to be perfect. They have to literally be perfect, or they just have to make me so happy that I can't not smile when I'm talking about them. So yeah, I'm pretty picky about my 5-star books. Let me know in the comments if you read anything on the list, or if you have some favorite books that you want me to read. I love getting suggestions from you guys. I'm really excited about Spooktober. Like, I already did all the planning for my Spooktober episodes, and I'm super excited about that coming up. We'll see. I'm really excited about it. I love Spooktober. October's my favorite month of the year. Always so much fun stuff happening for me in October. So yeah, I can't wait. Make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know I'm posting. I post every week, and that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you all next time. Bye!